I can hear you. I'll say, just write it down. Just write it down. I can hear you go, okay, I know 5 people that are in groups like God, my children, my family, my friends, just write them down. I want, or even think about it in your head. So my question to you is, are you on that list? Anywhere in that list? So today we're going to be talking about the importance of giving yourself that opportunity to be in your top 5. And today we're going to talk about the best gift that you can give yourself. And that is you. Not just yourself, but the world. Hi, my name is Lillian McDermott, and I am a certified life coach and the host of the Lillian McDermott radio show. And if you have not tuned in before, just know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide natural ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening and viewing friend, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, as you know, November is right around the corner. And what happens in November? Oh my goodness, the holidays, the gift giving, the doing, all those things that put you not in the top 5, but probably in the bottom 90. So today we're going to be talking about what can we do to put you in that place where you can say, I am in the top 5. Can you say that today? Can you say that today in your life? Well, I hope that starting today, you will be able to, because today I'm going to be discussing with you how to create that, I don't know, that way of seeing yourself, perhaps maybe like God sees us, or maybe like someone who really looks up to you sees you. So this is what I want to share, because it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, and I am grateful that I am going to talk to you about this topic. It's been in my heart, it's been brewing, and I'm going to base it on scripture too. So the first scripture I'm going to give you is Luke 6:41 and Matthew 7:3. They say the same identical thing. So if you missed it on one, you'll catch it again. Sometimes you have to hear something over and over again, or until you're ready, you won't hear it at all. So it's good for you to hear it once in a while, over and over again. So it says, and I'm going to read, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? That's the first one that I want to read to you. The second one is on Romans 2:1. And this, when I read it, I've read this before, but when I got it, I'm like, wow, people that are psychologists, psychiatrists, they've been saying this, but they didn't create it. It's in the Bible. And this is what it says. You therefore have no excuse, you who pass judgment on someone else, for whatever the point you judge another, you are condemning yourself, because you who pass judgment do the same thing. I'm going to read this again because this is so important. You therefore have no excuse, you who pass judgment on someone else, for at whatever point you judge another, you are condemning yourself, because you who pass judgment do the same thing. Okay, so why am I giving you these scripture verses? I'm going to give you some examples. This is how we put ourselves in the bottom 90, the bottom 100, wherever it is that you hold yourself. And I'm hoping that you're inching up as we continue our conversation today. So I was having a conversation with a friend who needs to change their lifestyle. And they're doing great things to change their lifestyle, but there's a rebelliousness, there's a rebellion brewing in them that doesn't want them to do it 100%. And that's fine. Listen, I always say that I am eat well 90% of the time. And when I'm in that 10%, I'm pretty, even though most people wouldn't consider what I'm eating horrible, but it's not within my wheelhouse. It's not something that I normally eat. So if I'm going to have something in my 10%, I would say back off, because 90% of the time I'm doing it well, or at least I think I am. And that's where we get to pass that judgment on ourselves. When we're looking at somebody else eating a certain way, is it really us that we're judging? Do we find ourselves judging a lot of other people, but refuse to look within? Because what you see in others is who you are. It's like I said, it's in the Bible. It's been there way before any psychiatrist or psychologist or thought leader could come up with it. It's there. So going back to this person that I was talking to, we were talking about different ways that they could, it's like one up their game, bring it up to that next level. But then they kind of ended the conversation with, not ended the conversation, just shifted the conversation to, but it's my child I'm worried about, because they're at a young age, they're going through the same diseases, lifestyle diseases, that they learned from that person, their parent. We teach our children. There's no doubt about that. Now, as we grow up as an adult, we can't keep blaming our parents, because we get to do something different and new, maybe something to change our lives. So I thought it was interesting that when they didn't want to focus on themselves, they shifted to their child, who they could judge of not doing the things to take care of themselves, which that's the conversation I was having with them about themselves. It was very interesting. So, but what about, when we talk to our teenagers, or when we talk about our teenagers, that they're crazy and doing this and this and that, what about us when we were teenagers? Do you remember kind of breaking the rules a bit? I do. I remember breaking the rules, but when my kids broke the rules, oh my goodness. It's because I didn't want them to repeat the same things that I did. Not that I was a terrible person, but I did some things that I knew my parents wouldn't have approved of. And so I didn't want that for my kids, but guess what? What you focus on, what like if you are ruminating on something, if you're fearful of something, look out, because that's what you're focusing on, and that is what you will get. And so I want to encourage you that if you have a teenager, which now teenagers in my life are grandchildren, a different conversation can happen. Oh yeah, I did that too. And this is what I learned from it. And, and sometimes we just got to let our kids do what they're going to do. Yes, I would throw myself on a grenade for my kids and for my grandchildren, for my family members, for the people I love, for you. Every day I throw myself on a grenade, because there's so much ridicule that comes out, or censoring, or whatever it is. That you're willing to do something like that. So what about the person who cuts you off on the road? The jerk, the dumb person, the idiot. Haven't you cut anybody off? Listen, I don't understand road rage, because everything that somebody would be upset about with me, or that I'd be upset about with them, I probably have done inadvertently, not on purpose. I've done it, cut somebody off, not seen somebody, cut in front of them before, they pass me without nobody being behind them. I know somewhere along the way I've done it too. So I'm pretty forgiving and understanding. It's when it's blatant that it is kind of scary. But for the most part, I don't get upset about things like that, because I know that if I forgive somebody, and if I hold somebody at that level, then somebody's going to hold me at that level. And so even though I might be, shocked that something like that happened, you can respond to it and let it go. Move on. You know that you've probably caused a lot of accidents behind you that you didn't even know you have caused. But it's really easy to see the person who cuts you off, or the person who is, takes a long time to check out their groceries. How many times did you do that? I'm just trying for us to do an examination of conscience, for us to see, and I'm trying to prove a point here, that we see in others who we are. And we also see the person who is sick and continues to care for other people, and against every advice that they hear, they do not take care of themselves. You know who those people are. Could it be you? Maybe it's been me at times, where I take care of everybody and I don't stop to rest, to give myself that grace to refill, refuel, recharge. Whatever that looks like for you, that's what we're going to be talking about today. I hope that you understand that I had to go through these steps. So to prove a point, the point that I'm trying to prove is that we ourselves get stuck in the holidays as we move forward, or in our life, taking care of people, and we stop. We're just doing, and we are not being. We are human beings, not human doings. And so today, perhaps maybe there's a level after you write the top five, and you realize that you may not be on that top five. Where are you? Again, are you in the bottom 90? Where are you? Who are you? What do you want for yourself? Another thing is the parent who gets lost in their children's doing. So this is what we do. We numb, we compare, we do things that keep us from really digging in, getting out our soul shovels and digging until there's only truth. But yet we do things to overeat, overdrink, all these things that we do that keep us numb and keep us from really sitting down and going, why aren't I in the top five? And I'm not talking about this love of a narcissistic love where you're better than everybody else. The love I'm talking about is you're just as important as everybody else. But when you give from a place of abundance, it is a much better place than giving from a place of lack. That is when we overeat. That is when we overdrink. That's when we do things, little sleep. That's when we overstress. Those are the things that we do when we are lacking self-love or self-esteem. That's what happens to us. We get stuck in this rut. And then guess what happens? Dis-ease. Dis-ease is what happens. And so how many of you that are watching today are listening going, well, this sounds like me. However, I don't have a disease, but yet you're 40 pounds overweight, or you have pink skin and it breaks out called rosacea. No, I don't have anything. There's nothing I'm allergic to. There's nothing. What if in your self-discovery, you allow yourself to set some things free? You put yourself in your schedule. You put yourself in. So I've got about 10 tips. Let's see, maybe 10. Let's see. Okay, let me see what we have here. I've talked to so many people that don't have the time to do anything for themselves, including working out, taking some time off to meditate, taking some time to, I don't know, do something for you. So the first one is that I've come up with is to wake up early. How many times do you hit the snooze alarm because you're so tired? You're so tired because you are on empty. And if your car were on empty, you would make yourself prioritize to take the car to get some gas. So we're talking about the priority of giving you some gas and being able to go longer because now you have filled your love bucket inside, that love, that self-love that brings you to that level where when you do give and when you do, it's you have an overage. You're not bankrupt like people who write checks when they know that there's no money in the bank account. Sure, I'll write you a check. Write you a check. I write you. You're going to go bankrupt if you keep doing that and don't make any deposits, or if the deposits are less than what you're getting out of the account. So one of them is wake up early. And I know that at first, because night person you hates morning person you, make morning person love night person and night person love morning person. Because really, truly during the daytime, that's when I get a lot of things done. Like sometimes I wake up at 4:30, sometimes even earlier, depending on how many things I have going on. Yes, I've got a lot of things going on, but I want to still have enough time to relax at the end of the day, or to have, an opportunity to replenish with my husband and have a wonderful conversation with my friends, or whatever it is that is important to me, whatever it is that is important to you. So waking up first in the morning, maybe an hour before you normally get up, that's not a lot. It really isn't. And what can we do in that hour? We can go to the gym, we can meditate, we can, like I said, prioritize our fitness, and prioritize our health. We can spend maybe even 15 minutes doing whatever it is we love. I remember when the kids would go to bed at night, I would just sit there and going, oh, it's so quiet. It is so quiet. And I love it. I can do a lot of things because there's not a distraction. But what do? When we have an opportunity, we turn on the TV, we turn on, noise to keep us from doing the things that will fill us, and whatever that is. And if there's nothing, reach out to me, 407-373-5959, because perhaps maybe some coaching, or maybe this class alone, you can go look at some of the classes that I've done on self-help, self-love, and how to, communicate, whatever it is that you feel you could improve on, then there's probably something for free that I've done, most likely. But if you need one-on-one coaching, you can email me at lily@whenyouneedafriend.com, or you can text or call. Just a little tweaking. How do I do that? How do I get up an hour before? Well, that means you got to get to sleep before. But if you don't worry, still get up, because that night, morning person is going to say to night person, hey, we're tired. Turn everything off. Let's develop some good sleep hygiene so that we can start giving ourselves love. Okay. Next one is eat healthy. What happens when you're stressed? Because what happens when you don't have that self-love and you're stressed all the time, you're running on empty, you're going from one thing to the next without any fuel within you, you will grab whatever it is and you will not eat the healthiest that you might choose for yourself. Or you might eat whatever's handy, grab a bag of chips, instead of the vegetables that you have to wash and cut up and dip in your hummus, or whatever it is that you like, that is healthier than the other versions that you're having. So when you get up early and you start filling up those things that you're doing for yourself, what I call putting deposits into your love account, your self-love account, then you have time to, all of a sudden, you have extra time to plan a meal. Maybe you can get organized to do that and start changing your eating habits. Again, 90%. If you are 50% where you're eating bad and 50% that you're eating somewhat good, you can maybe increase it every week to 60, 70, 80. And within a month or two, now you're eating at 90, 100% what you want. But make a plan, create that plan, and work the plan. So eating healthy. Another thing you can do when you are waking up early and you have that extra time, and that extra time is not to check Facebook, that extra time is not to call your friends, that extra time is just for you. Another thing that you can do is you can affirm yourself. Wow, I woke up early today. I did something wonderful. I thought of me. I enrolled to this class. I went to the gym. I sat down and just breathed. I just breathe through my diaphragm, not through my chest. I just breathe for 2 minutes. That's all it takes. And all of a sudden, that's going to reactivate the cells in your body, and they will all work together to help you get off diet soda, get off regular soda, take off the sweet tea, get out of the sugars, and all of a sudden you'll start maybe having like a healing crisis, but maybe just know that this is a good thing, because that's called detoxification. And all the sugar detoxification, the heavy metals that come in processed foods, the soda, all those things that are coming are just leaving your body. And if you could just hold on just a little bit longer by sweating it out at the gym, by maybe going for a walk, whatever it is, then all of a sudden your life will start taking order. Another thing I love to do is drinking out of your favorite wine glass or eating from your favorite china. Give yourself that love that you would give a stranger that comes to visit in your house. So, take out the good china. And this was some ideas also that I saw, the eating, the drinking from, even if you're drinking water out of your wine glass, that is the best way, because it doesn't matter what you drink, it's how you drink it. So if you're drinking water in a glass of wine, you really don't need wine. The glass is just so beautiful. Another thing that I've learned along the way is to look at yourself. This is from Louise Hay, and it's something that I do on my workshop, is that you look at yourself, eye to eye contact, in your mirror, on your phone, wherever it is that you have the reflection of you, and you say, I love you. I really love you. And this is what I love about you. You're kind and gentle, and you handled that guy really well the other day. I'm proud of you. Start telling yourself the things that maybe you never heard as a child. You have the power to rewrite the programming in your mind by the way that you choose to live your life, the way you choose to look at yourself. And be grateful for the good, the bad, the ugly, because all those things combined made you who you are today. And if you are ashamed of who you are today, then maybe we can shift that shame to gratitude. I'm grateful, not ashamed. I did the best that I could with what I had, what was I was given, but now I'm an adult. I can change that. I can no longer blame my parents. I can no longer blame the boyfriend that dumped me. I can no longer fill in the blank, because I love me, not in a narcissistic way, but in a compassionate way, the way that God loves us unconditionally. And I always believe, and I say this many times, that there is no such thing as a mistake. Yeah, there are mistakes that you think that have changed your life, like drinking and driving and killing somebody. Yeah, that is a mistake. If you want to look at it as a mistake, it is. But when you learn from those mistakes, there are growth opportunities. I will never drink and drive again. I will never, do this to this person or say this to that person. There are growth opportunities that you say, yes, this happened to me in the past, but what am I going to do about it? Am I going to let that person still control me from the grave? Or am I going to take my life back? Am I going to continue to pour out who I am onto my children, my family, my friends, without feeling gratitude, without getting anything in return? Or maybe you are getting something in return, but still it isn't filling who you are. Some people believe that unless I give and give and give and give, you won't love me and accept me. But that is a lie. That is a lie that comes from the ego that kept you alive as a child. It is time to rewrite, Just rewrite all the programming that you heard and learned throughout your life. So when you choose something, when you have that extra time and you don't fill it with things that will numb you, like television, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, surfing, calling, checking out the news for the latest gossip, whatever it is, when you, for you, because I promise you that once you stop doing all those things first thing in the morning and you start filling it with other things that make you a better person, that make you a new you for your future you, then life will change for you. So what are some of the things that you can do for your future you? Okay, there's a lot of things that you can do for your future you. Figure out what it is that you love and that okay, you say, oh, I love that. I just don't have the time. I love to dance. I love to go out dancing with the girls, or I love dancing with my friends, but I just don't have the time. I love to draw. I love to write. I just don't have the time. Whenever you just don't have the time, I guarantee you that if you do inventory in how you're spending your time, you will find that you have an abundance of time that have been underutilized. So if that is you, that you want to take inventory, get up early, stay up later, because some people go to bed real early because they want to get up really early. Maybe they can tweak both sides. And if you're tired all the time and there's no chronic illness that you have, maybe some supplements that you might need, some magnesium, some zinc, some, vitamin C, all these things that maybe could help you. Maybe you've decided to stop eating fast foods, stop eating processed foods, and now you're going to create these foods and you're going to batch cook on Sunday and you're going to create all these foods for the week that'll be easy to grab from your fridge. There's so many different ways that you can love yourself. Now, I'm going to talk to all of us, you in particular, and me, that culturally it is important for the mother or the woman to take care of everything. So those are cultural beliefs that if you give up your time, if you do something for yourself, somehow you're selfish. And that is cultural. We believe that, and maybe it was learned in your family too. Maybe you saw it with your family. It's funny. It's funny. It still amazes me how seldom we go inside of our spirit, our mind, our body to find answers as to why it is that we feel a certain way. So I want to encourage you to take the time to just sit in silence with a journal and write down for 3 pages without stopping whatever's in your heart, whatever's in your mind. That's another exercise you can do to get to know yourself a little better. There's so many things that we can do. There's so many different things that we can do. And so before I start sharing about things that we can do for other things that we can do for ourselves to make a better you, I want to talk about some of the things that are happening in the classroom. Like when you go to whenyouneedafriend.com, by the way, please like and follow me. Subscribe to whenyouneedafriend.com. Like and follow me on all social media. Check out the website. There's a lot of options that are totally for free. And there are other options that if you pay a small fee to help you, with, maybe a cleanse, or maybe you want to improve the way you're eating. Maybe you want to just do one of the challenges whatever that costs a bit, then just stop. Just stop and say, okay, where am I spending money that I really don't need to spend? Can I make my own coffee and save $5 to $10 a day? That's a lot of money. I don't know about you, but if I saw $1 on the ground and there was nobody around, I'd pick it up and take it. If there was nobody around, if we were in a busy place, I would bend down. Heck, I've picked up pennies and I go, abundance, abundance. Because that one penny, if you have 99 cents, will make $1. Oh yeah, I think like that. So with that in mind, I want you to continue to surf and check out whenyouneedafriend.com. Also check out my sponsors and support them the way that they're supporting the classroom, and pictures and links to my sponsors. There's also the Shop Now bag. The Shop Now bag is full of things that are Lily approved from head to toe. One of the things that I've been enjoying are some of the different things that have come from the Supergut. I am making my own Supergut yogurt. Cultured, I'm doing the coconut cultured, and I even did a video on how to make coconut cultured yogurt. And it is so wonderful. It took me like 6 attempts before I feel like I'm ready to share with the world, but I'm also testing my breath with the Air 2, and there's the yogurt maker. There are like makeup, there's all these things from head to toe, how to work out. And because I like to maximize my time, I work out with my bands, how to learn to work out in 30 minutes and be able to build muscle with just 2 pounds. That's what I've done. And so I've used the B3 band. So there's lots of different things that I use to stay pain-free, that are natural, holistic, integrative. It's wonderful. Because as you know, when I was hit rear-ended in 2017, I suffered from 4 herniated discs from that accident. I also had to remove my implants because we didn't know if they had ruptured. So there were a lot of things that I had to go through, and I did not do surgery for the pain in my neck, but instead I chose Avasia and PEMF machine to help me. And I still every day lay on my PEMF machine to revitalize my cells and feel healthy and well. So check out the all the Shop Now. There's some of them are affiliates, not all of them. And I will get the classroom will get a small fees or amount, commission, so that we can help the classroom grow. And another way that you can help the classroom grow is that you can become an enrolled student in the classroom. And whether it's your time, your talent, your treasure, any bit, whether it's $1 or $1,000 a month or one-time payment or whatever it is, for your time, your talent, your treasure, whatever you can give will help us. Sharing this video will help exponentially, especially since the algorithms for this social media does not want this information to get out. How do you love yourself? Because that's when depression and anxiety sets in, when you do not love yourself. And by the way, when you become a subscriber, if you haven't done so already, and I'm going to ask you, if not beg you, to please become an enrolled student in the classroom. Just recently, there was a change in social media that if you don't do what the World Health Organization says that is right, then you will be eliminated. It used to be misinformation for the virus that had happened or the shot that had happened. It used to be that, but now it's even more. And this is an organization that is run by people who really may or may not have your best interest. So we have got to share information that is uplifting, that will give us our health back, that'll give us the power, just like Dorothy at the end of The Wizard of Oz, to click our heels 3 times and say, there's no place like home. Home, your heart, your essence, your being. Because you, Dorothy, had the power in you all along. We all have that power. So you can become an enrolled student in the classroom just by sharing, just by giving anywhere that you can. And so today we are talking, and by the way, you can go to whenyouneedafriend.com and check out every conversation that I've had, and it's audio, but you can click on YouTube and Facebook and BitChute and all these places where you can find whatever it is that maybe your heart is speaking to you right now about. Maybe I've done a topic on it. Text me and I can tell you if I have, or you can just, do a search at my page at whenyouneedafriend.com. Go all the way to the bottom, and you can do a search for a topic or wherever it is that your heart is calling you to. So one of the ways that that I want to encourage you to think about is through the workshop that we're doing in November. It's going to be live. I'll be there with Dr. Bradley Nelson and hundreds of you as well. And we're going to be with like-minded people learning how to heal our bodies from the inside out, from our spirit, from our mind, and get rid of some of this generational trauma that keeps being handed down for us. It's not just your DNA for illness. It's also the way we think, the trauma that's been handed down. So Dr. Bradley Nelson has created, along with God, a way to tap into your subconscious mind. That's the information that is stored in your body. Maybe you have past trauma and you refuse to talk about it, you refuse to think about it because you've already dealt with it by numbing it, by letting it go. And maybe that's what you needed at the time, was to numb it and let it go. Act like it never happened. But that is still in your subconscious mind. It is still the goggles by which you view the world. It is still controlling every step that you take and every move that you make, because our subconscious is watching us, to quote the song rather loosely. So that amazes me. And I would say that I didn't read a lot as a child or as a young adult. And even now, when I read, it's always been about self-help. But when I was younger, the books I read were to help everybody else. Remember the plank in the eye? If you have a plank, you have you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but you don't see the plank in your own. That is something that we do all the time. Romans 2:1, like I said earlier in the broadcast. Whatever you judge others to do is because you've done it too. We have no right. And even if we judge ourselves, are we doing it in love or compassion? Are we looking at it as, okay, well, what can we do different and new? What can we solve that we couldn't solve before? That's why I have the I Am the Solution workshops that I do. Also, we're going to be February 3rd. Mark your calendars. For those of you who want to travel, we're going to have a wonderful second annual. This is our second one. I Am the Solution Natural Health Summit. So if you're interested in coming, that's February 3rd of 2024. We still haven't brought up the website, but it's coming up soon. So one of the reasons I want to talk to you about the emotion code and body code that's coming to Florida, Cape Canaveral, Florida, to be exact, on November 3rd and 4th, is because that is an opportunity for us to learn and grow about ourselves, to learn a tool, to learn a modality. And I always ask about, these are some of the questions. Would you like to know why you believe the way you do? Have you ever had somebody say to you, oh, that belief is outdated, or that's wrong, and you're holding on to this belief? Is this belief true or not? Do you want to know? Does it matter to you? Or would you rather die being right than being happy? It is up to you. Why are there fears that you cannot overcome? You know you can. But because of the belief system, or maybe some trauma was handed down to you that was passed down from generation to generation. When we are learning the I Am the Solution, the emotion code and body code, when we're learning that, we're looking also at generational traumas. Why is it that I buy in bulk when it's just two of us in the home? Because somewhere along the way, the depression affected my parents, and it's still in me. And I know, and the other day I had the opportunity to buy bulk and I chose no, I wanted fresh. And it's because I need to rewrite that. I need to rewrite the famine. I need to rewrite it. And somehow, maybe I still have a little bit of that. Do you? And so we get to determine, is this me, or is this trauma that was handed down to from my parents, from their belief system that was handed down to me? So that's what we inherit from our parents. Not so much 5%, less than 5% is the diseases or lifestyle diseases. Is that what gets handed down is the way that our parents live and act, but less than 5% is due to our DNA that we get diseases. Everything else is lifestyle choices, the way that our parents live their life, the way they eat, they think, they handle stress, the way they drink, all these things that you learn behaviors. Now you can learn what to do and you can learn what not to do. You can use that to your advantage as well. But chances are that many people will do whatever it is that their parents are doing and then judge them, and then you do it yourself, but you don't judge yourself. You don't look at that you're doing it too. I hear it all the time. I was speaking to this woman that was so self-centered, and she was talking to me about her daughter and how self-centered her daughters and how self-centered they were. They couldn't believe they only thought about themselves. And as she was smoking her cigarette and puffing it out, she said to me, I don't know where they get it from. Do you know how hard it was for me not to say what I thought? But I kept it quiet. I just agreed. Because when the student is ready, the teacher appears. That student wasn't ready, and I certainly wasn't the teacher. I was more the student, hearing how blind we can be to who we are. So what if there was a tool that could kind of go into your subconscious mind and take it out and release it? Now you know how to release it. And then you can take something else and release it. So what are some of the other questions that I have here? Why you have ideas that die before you have the opportunity to implement it? Are you a dreamer? Have big dreams, but you don't get it done. Could it be a limiting belief that says that you're not enough or that you could never do it? Maybe somebody said that along the way. You know, a trauma doesn't have to be abandonment, sexual abuse, or some form of abuse of any kind. It could just be someone said to you, you're not enough. I was told that I would never amount to much by my second grade teacher, Mr. Torres, the only teacher that I remember his name. Or my grandmother, my paternal grandmother, who said that if I stopped learning how to play the piano, she would stop loving me. Well, I stopped learning how to play the piano. Now, neither one of these people intended to hurt me. I took that information and I made up about myself that I was a good for nothing, unlovable person. And we don't know that that is ruling the way we choose things, what we choose in life. So once you tap into that and you know what it is that is keeping you from it, you can create that life that you want. You can do it with coaching as well. But some people believe that going through coaching is going to re-traumatize and re-injure and all those things. But you're doing that anyway through your mind, ruminating. All these thoughts were there and they've been there forever. How about if we stop the brain, slow it down, and just take some of these thoughts and rewrite them? Rewrite them. At the Emotion Code, Body Code 2-day seminar in November 3rd and 4th in Cape Canaveral, Florida, you will have the opportunity to not just look at the emotional aspect of your life, but you could also look at what are other things, chemicals, toxins, environmental stresses that are causing your life to be out of balance. So, is there a trauma that you need to release? Is there a desired goal that keeps taunting you, going, nah, you'll never achieve me. You'll never achieve me. Because the goal isn't taunting us. We're doing it ourselves. Are we reliving over and over something that happened 10 years ago? This person hurt me and they're constantly hurting me and we need to forgive. And how do you do that? There's lots of classes on forgiveness, by the way, and I hope that you will that is one of my favorite topics because it sets us free. It doesn't give the other person or condone the other person to their behavior. But I won't let that person control me anymore from their behavior from afar or even in the home. You get to make that choice, nobody else. Maybe there's nothing wrong with your life, but you feel like there's something different that you need to do. You don't have to have a messed up life. You can have a perfect life, but you just have that desire, like, there's something else I want. There's more to life that I want. What is it that I want? So if you've said yes to any of those questions, perhaps an invitation is in order. You're please join us and start looking at, if money is an option, like an obstacle, if time is an obstacle, all the things that you can do to kind of set yourself up for success will help you get to the seminar. There's so many people that go to this seminar and they're so like-minded and there's so much joy and love. Last year's emotion code and body code that we did was phenomenal, to the point where Dr. Brad and his wife Jean want to come back and do this again. So come to sunny Florida, beautiful Florida in November. By then we should have the seasons almost, done, which is, rainy season and hurricane season. It might be just a wonderful season where it's really super cold where you're at and super warm in Florida. So consider, and below this video, when you're looking at it on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, in the description, because people go, where's the link? Where's the link? Open the description button. Just click on it and it'll open. And there you will find the links to the workshops. Whether you want to purchase, because we are in our, we are in our third, we just completed on Tuesday, we just completed our fourth course, our fourth of 6 weeks. But we're recording everything. You can do this at any time. I'm having some people that are going through the process just to learn. And as soon as we're done with the 6-week program, they're going to implement it in their lives. Again, we get to implement things that we learn, or else it's a missed opportunity to do what it is that we want to do. Now, I'm inviting, I hope that you will, you don't have to have gone to the body code or read the book or anything. You can just come and just listen to what Dr. Brad has to say and process, use this tool to process some of the stuff that you don't even know is in there. We don't know what we don't know until we start digging in. So you're not, there, it's not required, like I said, for you to have anything wrong with you. You might be a practitioner that wants to learn this healing modality to do for yourself or to others. It's a way to learn. It's not a certification course. A lot of people have texted me or called me or emailed me and said, hey, do you have to have certification to come to this? Everybody, if I can go, anyone can go. These are tools that you can use to enhance your life. So whether you do a little bit of it, incorporate a little bit and create your own spin on it, as long as it involves release, the way you come about it, the way you do it, all these different modalities that you learn along the way, then put them all together and make it work for you. Because I've heard of other people that do very similar things, but they're a little different. There's a little tweaking. There's like, I've got Dr. Michelle that comes into the classroom. She's a recall healing expert, but she also does all these other therapies that she combines to help an individual. So it's time. And this is what, that whatever the reason it is time for us to take our soul shovels out and dig until there's only truth. There's nothing wrong with having flaws if you are willing to look at them, if you are willing to kind of tweak them and work with them and implement some changes. I don't know if you noticed, but today's class is a lot different than the others. We're going to do it, because even coaches need coaches. And so God is so wonderful. Remember how I've said, I know God is going to send me someone that's going to help, improve the classroom. Well, God has. And some tips I'm following today that I was given. Let me know how you like the new format where we start, the intro is going to be at the end, because I love the song that was created for us. And I love the video that Joe created for us. And so I want to incorporate that with knowing that, that it's still, holding on to the radio. I was holding on to the radio and to the television stuff that I've done. It's, believe it or not, I've got 3 seconds to get your attention. But you know what? Whoever watches today was meant to watch. Whoever watches this class in the future was meant to watch it. I'm not so concerned about that, because I know that God is giving me what I need, because God doesn't call the equipped, God equips the call. I cannot do this, and any of us. And I'm writing a book, and I know that part of who I am is the God in me. And I know that this society has lost their passion and appreciation and love for God. And as a result, we're trying to do it on our own. And that is so disheartening for me, because I know that no matter what is happening in my life, if God allowed it, whether I created it or not, because sometimes there are things that I create on my own that God allows. If God allows it, then there is a blessing and something I need to learn in whatever is going on in my life. So I want to challenge you to take the time to dig out your soul shovel, to see, how can I save some money without going into debt? Or if I go into debt, how will I pay this off quickly without getting into more debt? When you ask for what you want, which is, I want to go to the Emotion Code Body Code on November 3rd and 4th. I want that. So if you're willing to work backwards, what can I do? Where am I spending money that I don't need to spend money? I get so many people tell me, I don't have time to cook my meal. But they're sitting in that line to get fast food or a coffee or a drink. They're sitting in that line for sometimes 20 minutes, just waiting for their turn. In that 20 minutes, you can heat up something, stir fry something, you can steam something, you can create something. But driving there, driving back, plus the time in line, that's all a distraction to keep you from living your best life. What are you willing to do to live your best life? And by the way, I'm going to be there, and I am living my best life. I know a lot of people that are living their best life, and they're there because they want to learn and grow, and they want to learn, what else can they do? Is there something more? Are you feeling that way in your life? Is there something more? Maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see. But if you want something and you're unwilling to do whatever it takes to achieve it, then if it doesn't come, don't be shocked, don't be depressed, don't be anxious. But if you decide that you're willing to do whatever it takes to create what you want, and it doesn't happen, then that's the time we can figure out, oh, is it supposed to look differently? Is there something I need to do differently? Am I going into a different direction? God guide me, and God will. If you pray for it, if you desire it, expect it. But you also must do what you need to do to make it happen. One of my favorite stories in the Bible, well, I've got so many, but when it comes to doing whatever it takes, I will make that distinction. There's a story of a man who was a paralytic man that was on the side of this pool, and whenever it bubbled up, the first one that would jump in would be healed. Well, this man was on the side of this pool for 38 years and never went in because somebody else went in. And so Jesus was there and saw the man. Of course, Jesus knew all about the man. And he approached the man. And Jesus asked the question, do you want to be healed? Do you want to be healed? Well, the answer was, well, everybody just jumps in, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Jesus could have just put his hand on him or given him mud or have him breathe something or whatever it is to heal him. But Jesus said, do you want to be healed? He asked the question. And the man said, yes. Now, again, Jesus could have done anything to make it happen for him. He could have just sat there for another 38 years waiting. But Jesus said, then pick up your mat and walk. It is up to us to do the work. God is in all of us. I believe it. That's the I am the solution. The I am the healing for the soul workshop that I do. The I am is the God in us. I can't do things without God. I include and visit and welcome God into everything I do. And that's where I hold my creativity. That's where I hold some of the things that I do that I'm like, oh my gosh, who did this? It wasn't me. It was the God in me. I'm just a vessel. And when we look at life that way, and we're grateful for everything that happens in our life, that's when the magic happens. So I'm asking you the question, what are you willing to do? Are you willing to pick up your mat? Well, please remember, we'll be right here waiting for you, worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. This is Lillian McDermott, wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever. Now figure out how to create it.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott radio show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert.